Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on New Zealand Sports Radio. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host this morning. In the news today, we'll bring you up to speed with the international cricket with the Black Ferns and the Black Caps and the White Ferns back in action today. With the NRL round 4 kicks off as do the NBL and the A-League are back in action. We've got NBA action from the States. We'll bring up to speed with all of the rugby news, and boy, there does appear to be plenty of it off the pitch at the moment as well. So this is your best way to start the day, up to speed with all of the important sports news, and let's crack straight on into it. Over in the USA for the NBA, there were just 4 games yesterday, which meant the Hornets beat the Wizards 114-104. The Nuggets saw off the 76ers 104-95. The Magic beat the Clippers 103-96. And the Suns beat the Hawks 117-110. So some key results there with the 76ers and the Clippers losing. The 76ers still top of the Eastern Conference, though, ahead of the Nets and the Bucks. Over on the Western Conference side, the Jazz lead the Sun and the Clippers in 3rd place, with the Lakers there in 4th. Pelicans down in 12th in the Western Conference. Today we've got 10 games in the NBA, and obviously join us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. as I'll update you with how all of those go, including the Lakers versus the Bucks. That will be a key game there between 2 of the form teams of the season. Sticking with basketball, and it returns in Australia with the Hawks taking on the Phoenix today at 9:30 p.m. That's followed up by the Wildcats taking on the Kings. The Breakers will be back in action on Sunday against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. So 2 games today in the NBL. Over in the NRL, and also we have there's just 1 game today. The Sea Eagles versus the Panthers will kick off week 4 of the NRL season. You got to say Panthers heavy favourites in that one, as they are top of the table with 3 wins from their 3 games so far this season. In the A-League, and again 2 more games there as the as round for match week 15 kicks off. The Western United will take on Melbourne City. Melbourne City 3rd in the table there. Western United down in 10th, and Central Coast and table-topping Central Coast Mariners will take on 2nd in the league Adelaide United. So top of the table clash there. Kick off at 9:40 p.m. and that one should be an absolute cracker. Moving on then to our rugby news, and yesterday it was announced that the Sevens will be heading down to Wellington for the 9th to the 10th of April at Hati Park in Wellington. Sorry about the pronunciation there, folks. On the men's side of things, there'll be an All Blacks Sevens black team and All Blacks Sevens white team, and they'll be taking on Tonga Invitational and a Samoa Invitational side, whereas the Black Ferns Sevens will be split again into a black and white team up against a Black Ferns 15s selection team and a Moana Pacifica women's team there. So lots of action down there, which will be culminating with games either side of the Hurricanes versus Crusaders game at Sky Stadium on Sunday, the 11th of April. The Highlanders have had to stand down 6 players due to a breach of protocols there. Those players are Sione Misalio, Joshua Wani, Daniel Leonard-Brown, Mikalei Tu'u, Tariiki Ben Nicholas, and Tompkinson down there. The The Highlanders have not mentioned what the breach of protocol is, but the rumours are that it was a late party at Josh Iwane's house. But they've broken the code, is what has been said. The Highlanders have gone into a bit of silence around this, refusing, not answering calls or emails around it. So not taking perhaps the most proactive way of dealing with this. This is off the back of Josh Iwane and Koroi getting stood down after a breach of protocols by Otago last year, and also the incident in Queenstown where 6 or 7, depending on which reports you look at, players were involved as well last season. So it's becoming a bit of a theme down there in Dunedin that needs to be sorted out, you would have to think. We're also expecting a significant announcement today by New Zealand Rugby that is not to do with Silver Lake. So two topics that spring to mind around that are the naming rights or sponsorship of the NPC, previously called the Mitre 10 Cup, but that came to an end last season. So we got sponsorship of the Mitre 10 Cup, the Farrar Palmer Cup, and the Heartland Championship is now up for grabs. Also, we know that AIG, the shirt sponsors of the of all the All Blacks teams and Black Ferns teams, is also coming up for renewal as well. So two topics there that we may see an announcement by today from New Zealand Rugby. No announcements or news coming out of the mediation that was taking place yesterday between New Zealand Rugby, New Zealand Rugby Players Association, the provinces, and also Super Rugby sides. So we will see what comes ahead of that. Moving on then to the cricket, and it's the third T20 between New Zealand women and Australia women will be taking place today up at Eden Park, as well as the third T20 between New Zealand men's and Bangladesh men's sides as well. So look forward to those in action. We still have got the West Indies versus Sri Lanka second test match, which is into its third day now. As you remember, the West Indies posted 354 in their first innings. Sri Lanka are currently 214 for 7, still trailing by 140 runs with 3 wickets in hand. A couple of batsmen have got in and made some scores, but not gone on to that really big one they're going to need to close that gap. So Thiramani scored 55, and Chandimal scored 44. As De Silva also got 39. So starts there, but no big scores, as I say. Nisanka is currently at 20 not out, and Chamira is 0 not out there in that one. For the West Indies, they have been sharing the wickets around with 6 bowlers taking wickets. Asirai Joseph has taken 2 wickets there, most wickets with 2 there. You have now started the day the best way with all the important sports news. It's nearly the weekend, folks, because yes, it's a long weekend this weekend, as this is the final working day of the week. Enjoy your long Easter weekend, folks, and do stay safe. I'll be back here. Steve and Shane will be back here at around about 5 p.m. today with the Super Rugby preview show. And then I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. With the morning sports briefing.